Welcome back, everybody, to the show and another week. The week that just concluded was a little bit too insane. I feel like I've been put through a washing machine and a dryer. Of the last 7 days, I've been traveling 5 of them. So I'm a little disoriented, but so is our world, frankly, okay? So I think it's fitting. I am happy that you're all here. I'm happy to be here. I hope everything's going well in your life, because in the world, it's very much not. And let's start with this. Trump held an event despite everything going on about college sports and like, hey, how are we going? It's a significant issue, the whole NIL, but what's the pay for players and how do you make sure they have proper power? And then how do you manage the transferring and the restrictions and the colleges need to do this or that? But do any of us need a press conference on college sports right now? In the middle of a war? Do we really need that? And that's what Trump did. And then he was so irritated when people would bring up, or reporters would bring up, any other topic like, hey, we learned that Russia is reportedly assisting Iran in finding U.S. targets to strike. Look at this.
Thank you, President Trump. It sounds like the Russians are helping Iran target and attack Americans now.
That's an easy problem compared to what we're doing here. But can I be honest? It's just, I have a lot of respect for you. You've always been very nice to me. What a stupid question that is to be asking at this time. We're talking about something else. Can we keep this maybe a little bit? Go ahead, please.
Can we please?
What
can
a
we
stupid
keep,
question.
Can we keep this a little bit? Well, I mean, at some point in a time like this, when there's college sports to be discussed, which Trump knows so much about, so much so that when he did an interview on college sports, his first answer to a question about college sports, football, was about NFL. Okay. But can we keep this to please?
Go ahead, please.
Let's keep it a little all right, and then you have this.
Peter, I'll give you one more chance because that was a bad question you asked before. Go ahead.
We've already got a lot of sound bites
leave him in the
about the
like
sports. Can I ask one off topic?
On topic.
On topic. Okay.
Which is unusual for you. Go ahead.
Thank you. What is motivating you to do this right now? Because there is a lot of other stuff going on in the world.
Right. That's right. There's a lot. We're doing by the way, in Iran, we're doing very well. Somebody said, how would you score it from 0 to 10? I said, I'd give it a 12 to a 15. Their army is gone. They're just about.
Does that rating include still no explanation of what the end goal is? Does that rating include that apparently what we've accomplished thus far is getting Khamenei, who was a horrible, horrible leader, to be replaced by Khamenei? Did you hear this? His son? Does that include the American, now up to 7 American heroes who are dead? Does that include the school of children that was killed, dozens of school children? Does that rating include all of those things that was an aftermath of, I guess, an accidental strike on a school by joint U.S.-Israeli strikes? Then Ducey reflected on this on Fox News.
And he took a couple questions. I asked him about this report that the Russians are, and you'll excuse me, I just ran out here. I asked him about this report that the Russians are helping the Iranians target Americans. And the president, who wanted to stay on topic, said he thought that was a stupid question. Brett?
Nice job.
Okay, so what was that for? What was that analysis for? We now go to Peter Ducey, who's going to explain to us what happened, and you just repeat. Yeah, we saw the clip, Peter. You want to give some thoughts? Like, hey, I don't think as a journalist that was a stupid question. Like, hey, anytime we have a chance to ask Trump about the ongoing war right now, that's the most important thing. We're going to ask him about it, even if he wants to talk about college sports and how much Nick Saban has won national championships. Hey, I would have liked to ask a follow-up question about why on earth would you be easing sanctions on Russia as they're assisting in getting Americans killed? Besant?
To ease the temporary gap of oil around the world, we have given them permission to accept the Russian oil. We may unsanction other Russian oil. You know,
Wait, this is serious, but Besant is so sleepy and boring that Larry Kudlow is getting bored. Guys, Larry Kudlow is bored. Go to your dictionary. Find the word bored. Boring. You're just going to see a photo of Larry Kudlow. And Larry Kudlow's like, dude, pick up the pace. Watch him. Watch Kudlow sort of, thank you, Cole. Sort of shake his shoulders like, hey, all right, move forward, brother.
Given them permission to accept the Russian oil. We may unsanction other Russian oil. You know, the other thing Treasury can do here, Larry, is there are hundreds of millions of barrels of sanctioned crude on the water, and in essence, by unsanctioning them, Treasury can create supply. And you know, we are looking at that. We're going to keep...
Yikes. So because of a war they decided to engage in, we're seeing oil prices skyrocket, thus gas prices. So then they're talking about easing sanctions on Russian oil to help address that, which would just fuel Russia's war machine. So then we're talking about more resources for more death and destruction when they're acting like this is how we position ourselves geopolitically better. This is how we stabilize the world and prevent mass death. But somehow even something that intriguing, because of the consequences, somehow Besant finds a way to say it in the most sleepy way possible, where Larry Kudlow's eyes are barely open, which I know what you're thinking is not always the case, but they seemed even more closed than before. The two of them just hanging out. This is good coffee. It is. Did you see that Donna Kelsey's house is being renovated? It feels good to laugh, Larry. Okay, so then once again, when Trump's talking about college football, do not ask him about something that's obviously so much more important.
Now you're into a brand new system. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Mr. President. Thank you. Could you tell us what went into your decision to replace Secretary Noem with Senator Markwayne Mullin?
Is it possible to stay on this subject just for once? You know, just for once. Boy, oh boy. Anybody have any questions on this subject?
All right, so he's saying, let's stay on the subject, right? Let's stay on the subject. It's very clear what we're talking about. It's very clear what Trump's advocating for. He has a deep understanding of college sports. He understands the problems. He wants to address them in a way that isn't just beneficial to the people at the very top making money off of these athletes, but also that still allows the athletes to advocate for themselves and make money based on their name and likeness. He understands it all. Like, hey, here's a clip of him explaining what he's going to do in the aftermath of studying this subject. See if you can follow.
All right, so I think he qualifies, right? But I'd like to sit down with some of the very talented people in this room, and we'll pick them out. If you'd like to volunteer. And I'd like to sign an executive order that I'll write myself based on common sense. And it'll be something that people will be sort of happy about. Some will be sort of happy. Others will be sort of happy. And maybe that's a good thing. There'll be a few people that won't like anything, but I'd like to write an executive order based on some of the very great talent in this room, and we will be sued, and we'll go before a court, and maybe we'll have a judge that's realistic, reasonable, and wants to do a favor for the country, because that's the only way this is going to be solved. So I'm going to sit down, and I'm going to write an executive order based on many of the statements made today, many of the statements I've been hearing over the last year about what a disaster this is for colleges, for the players, for the families, ruining everything. And we're going to do a very well thought out executive order.
Okay, so you know what this reminds me of? It's this. Whenever a YouTube video, and it says quadruple your YouTube views with this one secret. And you click on it, and it's like, hey, what's up? I'm Increase Your Views, Louie, and today I'm going to explain to you with one simple algorithmic change how you can quadruple your YouTube views. Again, my name is Increase Your Views, Louie. This channel is all about making sure you can increase your views. Before we get to that, I do want to read a quick message from our sponsor. In these scary times, you might die. We might all die. So make sure that you have your prepared kit by going to getyourpreparedkit.com/Louie. Now, let's talk about the one secret that, based on the new change to the YouTube algorithm, that will increase your views by 4 times. Quadruple. Quad. 4. Quad. 4 quarters. Football is 4 quarters. When you're playing a football game, you think about the fourth quarter while you're in the first quarter. And that's what we're going to talk about here. Because what are we talking about? And you're like, when is it going to get to the thing? Tell me the secret. And then you really realize the secret, this is kind of a meta point. The secret is to keep people watching, which they're doing. And they demonstrate the point. The scam is the secret. Very much Trump's energy here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign an executive order, okay? This is what I'm going to do. And it's going to make people sort of happy. But one group's going to be sort of happy, the other group's going to be sort of happy. And what we're going to do is executive order. It's going to be common sense. It's going to address, because this is a big problem. And what I'm going to do is sign an executive order, and you're going to see the executive order. And in the executive order, there's going to be executive orders.
A lot of you are going to be involved in that. All of you, anybody that would like to, just let me know.
On what?
And that'll be placed before the courts, and hopefully a judge who's a real judge, a compassionate judge, and a judge with common sense will get it approved. And maybe it won't, and maybe it won't hold up. Maybe they'll say you can't.
Yeah, so he still hasn't described what it is that will be laid out in this executive order, but he's stalling. He knows every time he throws it to reporters, they're going to ask him real questions about real issues. Not that college sports is a real issue in the lives of those people. It is a really big issue, and that should be addressed in that world. In his world, I think at this time he has higher priorities, and he doesn't want to be asked about those, so he's just stalling. He's just saying a bunch of mumbo jumbo. John Favreau says dead Americans, $100 barrel oil, billions of dollars a day on a massive war that's so far replaced an 86-year-old tyrant who's going to be dead soon anyways with his son. Khomeini replaced with Khomeini. Okay? Which Khomeini replaced Khomeini. So it's all just Khomeini. It's coming up Khomeini. Okay? Doesn't seem like the biggest accomplishment ever. Ron Phillips Kelly said a year ago we were supposed to be getting $2,000 rebate checks. Doge was going to find $2 trillion in waste to balance the budget. We were going to pay no income taxes because tariffs would pay for everything. Gas and home electricity bills would be cut in half, and no new wars. Do you remember that's what they stole? Do you remember whenever they came out during the inauguration, said the golden age of America, no more of these regime change wars. Money's going to be coming out of our ears. We're going to be coming through winning. We're going to be coming through money, and we're going to be coming through victory, and you're going to be winning so much you're going to say, Mr. Trump, please stop winning. Please, we're
Many
winning
of them came
too
numerous
much.
times. Everybody's coming.
That was the message. What do we have now? As you heard, New York Times, oil prices surged above $100 a barrel for the first time in almost 4 years amid growing concerns about supplies as the war in the Middle East continues. That's immediately impacting gas prices here in the U.S. Do you see this line? Boing, boing. So do you remember when gas prices went up because of a bunch of macroeconomic reasons and pandemic aftermath, and was obviously not Biden clicking the prices up button, but he got all of the blame, and you had those stickers? I did that. And then now it's actually because of Trump's decision directly. But you're not going to hear that on Fox. Shh, you're not going to hear that. No, you're not. No, you're not. Amanda Robb, thank you so much for becoming a member by clicking the join button on YouTube. I have so much to update you all about, which I will do on the bonus show. All of my travels, all of my adventures. More people in the last 3 days have come up out in public viewers of the show, and I've got to talk with people, and I got to laugh with people. I got to cry with people. I got to literally dance. I was at a club. What? And someone came up and I was like, oh, did you just see me shaking my behind? Were you there for that? That's always a weird moment, right? Someone's like, hey, I'm a huge fan of the show. And instantly my brain goes, what was I doing the last 5 minutes? When they could have been looking at me. And actually, I would say, Jaden, you can attest to this maybe, I won a dance-off. You were there for that, right?
It was crazy. It was crazy. I lost Luke, and a dance circle opened up, and all of a sudden Luke just appears in my peripheral into the center of the dance battle.
Yeah, it was me versus this guy who had moves. I mean, the way that his arm would move it, I mean, he was like doing things, but he didn't have the willingness to sacrifice. That sounds weird. I'm about to say his knees. My knees hurt because I went down on the ground and I was, whatever. So, point is, you can still dance. Which our next story is going to be about potential calamity. Let's say we are going to have calamity here at home. I'm not saying we are, but spoiler alert, what I'm about to explain to you is that Trump administration officials are getting bunkers. Great. So, nuclear war bunkers. No. Awesome. No. So cool. And let's say that happens. I'd rather be shaking my butt when the nuclear thing happens than not. So I just decided I would leave it all out on the dance floor. But that's kind of a weird context for someone to go, is that guy I watch talk about politics? Who's currently doing the WAP dance move on the floor? Is that guy that I go to for political information? But that's life, right? The duality of man, woman, people, right? Okay. Yes, good. So let's talk about this now. I think we're all accepting that it's a scary time. And as I just referenced, I don't think that means that we should not have fun or should be hyperbolic about the potential catastrophes that we face. But there's some headlines that just hit you some type of way, right? Where you go, is this worse than even I'm thinking? Now, I'm not one of these doomsday people. You even don't hear me going, we're going to have a civil war. We're going to have a civil war. There's some people like Tim Pool.
Well, we all are going to die.
Okay. There's people like Tim Pool who, if you search their X feed for Civil War, it pops up or it goes error. There's too many Civil War references in his feed. Some people just juice views and clicks off of Civil War or nuclear holocaust or the world is ending, Armageddon. I don't do that. But I still want to share with you what I find to be a sort of chilling story, which I saw on Raw Story. Top Trump officials rushed to purchase nuclear war-proof bunkers after Iran attack. I think this originally was reported through The Telegraph. So you picture yourself sort of living life and thinking there's already so many disasters and now we're in a war and they're not explaining, and we hear Iranian sleeper cells and potential domestic terrorist attacks in response and American soldiers dying and children being killed in a strike in Iran by joint U.S.-Israeli forces in a school. And it's just like, oh my gosh, how bad could this get? And then you hear that the elites are literally going, hello, I need a bunker ASAP. So here's the story. The revelation comes from Texas resident Ron Hubbard, who owns Atlas, a company that manufactures survival bunkers designed to withstand biological or nuclear fallout, EMP attacks, and other catastrophic scenarios. Hubbard spoke with The Telegraph and revealed that since the U.S. attack on Iran, inquiries had gone up tenfold, including inquiries from 2 senior Trump administration cabinet members. One of them texts, it's Bessent. It's 100% Bessent. You know a little bit. Bessent loves the idea of just hanging out and playing. He plays cards, a lot of cards, and nothing interesting. Uno, all day long. And he's thinking, I wouldn't mind chilling out with Larry Kudlow and playing Uno until my last breath in a bunker. One of them texted me yesterday asking me, when will my bunker be ready? Hubbard told the Telegraph. So while they're all going, hey, trust Trump, we're good, he's going to keep you safe, he's going to guide us through this, they're privately texting Mr. Hubbard of Atlas and saying, I need my nuclear-proof bunker to be ready. So again, am I saying you should be panicking over nuclear war? No, I'm not. I'm absolutely not. That's not going to happen anytime soon. Now, the experts say that it could happen sooner rather than later. now that I'm remembering, what was that thing called? The Atomic Scientists Association thing, org, that has the doomsday clock, and now we're closer than ever to doomsday. So in a sense, there is some reason to believe that we're closer to catastrophe, but I don't think that's good for your brain. I say, don't worry about it, but worry about the state of politics. Yes. Engage yourself in our democracy. Try to elect better leaders. That's what you can do. Don't be thinking about like, oh, am I going to be trying to get into Besant's bunker? And he's going to say, we already have too many players for Uno. Now, I'm going to show you this Tulsi Gabbard video in a second, but here's what I'm thinking as I read that story. Oh, that's freaky. That's kind of freaky. That's annoying to know that while they're trying to tell us to trust Trump, they don't seem to be trusting Trump a ton, and they feel the need to get a nuclear bunker, allegedly, reportedly, and a bunker that can withstand everything. But there's two thoughts other than that I have. The first is this does kind of epitomize something that is at the core of our income inequality problems, which is the people who assist in wrecking our systems and deteriorating our society. It's not the 1% of this immigrant group or the trans people. It's that top 1%. It's the people who are fine for their own enrichment, sucking the life out of our country and the world, because they don't really have to live in that society. Now that they're mistaken, they should want to. We all would enjoy our lives however rich someone is better if the society you're in is flourishing and is prosperous and there's interesting innovation and creativity, all that. But they have this mindset of like, well, I'm going to be on a 100-acre plot of compound, private security. Everything can be brought to my home. I can have a bunker. I think Zuckerberg has a advanced bunker. So what do I really care if the regulars, if the average people are having a tough time? And that detachment, I think, is also embodied in this story, which is the very people who are making the decisions that impact our country are able to be shielded by the consequences or from the consequences of their decision making. But do you remember Tulsi Gabbard was not that long ago? When was this video? Let's see. This video was June 10th of 2025. So she sold her soul to Trump and said she has to support him after being a Democrat because she wanted a position of power. That's obvious. But she tried to argue because he is actually common sense and anti-war, and he is going to keep us out of a war with Iran. Well, but whenever she would warn of how the dangerous elites that I guess she was saying Trump was fighting back on are pushing us towards nuclear war, she would say stuff like this.
Visited Hiroshima in Japan. Acid rain would scar the earth, wiping out entire ecosystems. This isn't some made-up science fiction story. This is the reality of what's at stake, what we are facing now. Because as we stand here today, closer to the brink of nuclear annihilation than ever before, political elite and warmongers are carelessly fomenting fear and tensions between nuclear powers. Perhaps it's because they are confident that they will have access to nuclear shelters for themselves and for their families that regular people won't have access to. So it's up to us, the people, to speak up and demand an...
And in it somewhere she says they have bunkers. And then now months later we're literally getting reports about her administration officials getting bunkers. And can we get like a, what is that called, a hashtag? Can we get a hashtag going about where is Tulsi Gabbard? Because she vanished. I haven't seen her. She was all, we can't get into war with Iran. Trump's the actual anti-war candidate. And then she gets this position, director of national intelligence, and then Trump starts a war with Iran. I haven't heard a peep. You'd think someone who put like their reputation on the anti-war message and specifically would rail against war with Iran specifically, you'd think the only rational response would be to resign and speak out, right? I'll remind you again, she made this video during the Trump administration. Kind of a weird thing whenever you're a part of it to be like, oh, the people currently in power. But they never change their message. That's the problem. The people who have created an entire political ideology off of the people in power are a part of this conspiracy, and we are the outsiders coming in to stop it. They don't really know what to do once they get all the power, but they still want to blame everything on some other entity or some other shadowy group, but they're the ones with all the power. So she just continued, and apparently this made Trump mad at her. And then I do have to note, if you have a serious message to the American people about how we're closer than ever to nuclear annihilation and you want to deliver that message, let's not make it like the trailer of a movie. This summer, starring Tulsi Gabbard, nuclear holocaust.
End to this madness. We must reject this path to nuclear war and work toward a world where no one has to live in fear of a nuclear holocaust.
Pre-sale tickets available now. Like, why are you doing that dramatic music when delivering a serious message? Now, you're thinking, Luke, I'm scared. I'm scared, Luke. I need to be happy. I come to you to make me happy. Well, this made me happy. Probably some people are describing as the biggest meme of 2026 already is TMZ ran an article titled Travis and Jason Kelce's mom, Donna, is having a renovation on her home, according to TMZ. TMZ has learned, according to official records, you have Taylor Swift's future mother-in-law redoing 2-bedroom, 2 bathrooms in her Orlando home. Now, you could imagine, just given the news cycle, the collective internet was like, for a second went, why are you reporting on reportedly the mom of Travis and Jason Kelce is having a home renovation? Like, how is that news in any world ever? But then it turned into the funniest sequence of events. This is me on Twitter. I click one response to this article because I thought it was funny and I was going to talk about it on the bonus show. And then I reopened Twitter and there was like 100 funny responses, such as Nick saying millennials have lived through 2 recessions, 9/11, Iraq and Afghanistan, a global pandemic, 8 stock market crashes, and Donna Kelce's home renovation. Someone else said, getting tired of living through major historical events. Then you have Greg saying, I already know the biggest news of March will be Donna Kelce's renovation, so I'm ready to lock in. You have January being Maduro, February being committee, and March being Donna Kelce's month. That sounds grim. Not that she's going to be arrested or killed. That's not it. Just with the news was the major news. You have the documents show Donna's hired a company to replace 9 windows and 6 doors at the home. And someone saying, guys, oh my effing God. And then Jess says, how will this impact? The post is, clocks spring forward an hour tonight for daylight savings time. And someone responds, how will this impact the Donna Kelce home renovation? you have the Athletic reporting on Travis Kelce, which is big news in the sports world, deciding to play another season in the NFL reportedly. And Liz responds, can't believe Travis is so selfish he tried to overshadow his own mother's home renovation. And then someone goes, oh yeah, Trump is bad for the economy. Biden, 0 Donna Kelsey home renovations. Obama, 0 Donna Kelsey remodelings. Trump, 1. So, you want to say that the Trump economy is bad? Someone said, I'll always remember where I was on March 7th when I learned of this breaking news. And then finally, someone saying human history will be divided into before and after this moment. And every time it's just Donna Kelsey like, woo, I'm renovating my home. Oh, gosh, that's something. I saw someone say, she's doing this to distract from the Epstein files. So that gave me a laugh. I hope that it did you as well. Sassy Frassy became a member by clicking the join button on YouTube. I appreciate that. Nero Doodles has been a member for 9 months. Said, happy you're back. I miss you on weekends. My afternoons aren't the same. Oh, thank you. Tadium, member for 15 months, said, oh, neat. I don't know what that was a response to, but Anna Griffith has become a member by clicking the join button. Tessa Pantalones has been a member for 2 months, said the elite doing this to trigger Jesus beaming back down should have zero reason for a bunker, right? I know, you have these contradictory reports. People were referencing it, and then I covered it in a breaking news segment over the weekend, which was, I was reading from The Guardian, but you have this leaking out of the military, which is that military leaders, or at least one was quoted telling their subordinates that they should be echoing the message that Trump is being used by Jesus to light the signal fire in Iran so that the second coming of Jesus can happen. That this attack is to facilitate Armageddon so that whatever happens in the Bible where it gets real dark will happen. The Bible's a funky little book, isn't it? Huh? It's like, hello, I am God, and I made everything, and also that I killed everybody, and also that I directed a bunch of people to get murdered, but also, man, I'm loving you guys. And then this next part comes in, it's like, and then this hippie dude comes around, and actually he goes, that God you heard about that was a little angry sometimes that whenever all of you got bad, he flooded and drowned all of you. That was totally a goof. I'm here now, and I'm loving. And then you have the part of the Bible that I really resonate with, which is Jesus' teachings. Love your neighbor. Look out for the person who is being persecuted. Look out for the oppressed. Uplift them. And you're like, all right. And then the ending's like, and then everything is good. And I actually don't know the specifics, but it's like, and now dark again. It's an interesting ride. Amanda Robb said, between you, Jaden, Clean Beautiful Cole, and Jimmy Kimmel, this whole mess is easier to bear. Thanks and praise from Peterborough, Ontario, Canada. I appreciate that greatly. DD became a member, and I appreciate that as well. Aiden also became a member. And then just one other comment. Tadium said, so Disc won't let me post the Donna Kelsey calendar pic. I even saved it to Paint, then tried that way. It literally will not send. Also nailed it pronouncing the name. Neat was for 15 months. Oh, gotcha. And Bobby Slack said, love you, Luke, Jaden, and Clean Beautiful Cole. Appreciate all of you. Very active group today. Now we talk about something a little bit goofy. It's interesting because you just know that J.D. Vance believes he's going to be the next president. Every time he gets asked, I wish I had pulled this clip, but he gets asked, are you running for president? And he's like, listen, Martha. And like, oh my gosh. And I'm just focusing on doing, anytime you hear a politician go, I'm just focusing on doing the job that I was elected for right now. You think, who, me? Someone who's used their whole life to pursue power that I would be thinking about what my next step up could be? No. So obviously, yes is the real answer. And it looks like maybe he's going to try to structure it where he'll be the presidential candidate and Marco Rubio will be his vice presidential candidate. Just a real charismatic ticket, But here's the problem for him. Two big problems. Number one, his face is weird. No. Number one, he's going to be attached to the Trump. No, you picked this image. He actually looks kind of good. Okay, you put this image up. He looks kind of good. Let's see if the next one is this B-roll. Maybe the next one will be Still got, yeah, okay. So, number one is he needs to be attached to the legacy of Trump. And it's going to be impossible for him to distance himself. There's going to be enough Republicans who will want you, there it is, enough Republicans who will want you to be loyal to Trump that he won't be able to run away from him, but also enough who will be sickened by Trump's record that you can't completely align with Trump. He's going to be so unpopular. It's going to be brutal. That's the main thing. But number two, he has no charisma. I thought that he did at one point. It's whatever he had, it went away. And take a look at him trying to be a little bit of a funny guy during a recent speech.
Thank you all. Thank you so much, Ed. It's great to be here. It's great to have you in our nation's capital. I always say to everybody, this is a very big group. I can't see any of you because these spotlights are glaring bright. The person who runs these spotlights, Ed, must be a Democrat because I cannot see a single person in that crowd. But I'm told there's about 700 of you out there, and so I say...
Jamie Don, you funny little guy. Wait, what is JD for? I actually don't know. I was trying to think of his full name. I know he's changed it multiple times. So that
what the hell happened to JD?
That was his first one. Then you have Aaron Rupar posting this clip saying JD Vance's cringe level is off the charts.
Now, we know that President Kelly and President Trump, we all have our own presidents, my friends. He was a huge proponent, and I'm glad.
I don't know what he's trying to do there. Did you look up J? Do you know what it is? Tell me. JD stands for James David. Boring. See, even his name is boring. James David. David James. You literally, if we didn't know JD Vance and I told you, oh, I met this guy, James David, at one point in your life, you go, remind me of that David James guy? You would totally flip it around. That's how boring. His name lacks charisma, okay? At least my middle name's Patton. That's kind of different. Luke Patton. You guys are like, dude, your name's Luke. That's basic. You're a white guy named Luke. Well, it's in the Bible. Luke's in the Bible, so special. Then you have a flashback to this.
President, very much for your leadership, but also for the kind words about me personally. I knew exactly what I wanted to say, but then after the president said that I was so smart and that I didn't want to repeat our congresswoman who froze for 20 seconds over in Munich, now I'm tempted, sir, just to freeze for 20 seconds and just stare at the cameras, and maybe they'll say nice things about me like they do about Congresswoman Cortez. But I have three very brief messages. First of all...
I guess he's getting us to laugh, so that was kind of the goal. Maybe he's kind of accomplishing the correct goal. But if you're Benny Johnson, this is JD Vance crushing it. He said, JD Vance roast AOC. JD Vance roast. Why does he not know how to write correctly? And then it's a laughy emoji. Ha ha ha. Because Benny Johnson follows me? What's Benny Johnson following me for? Benny, get out of here, you goof dog. Okay, Benny, let's click. Since he follows me, I'll follow him back. No, I'm not gonna do that right now. I was gonna send him a little DM and be like, hey, you suck. Hey, big fan. You're the worst. Then you have Hegseth going, all right, JD, stop it. You're not being funny. Let me show you how to be funny.
Is he better in Spanish or in English? I think he's better in Spanish. I mean, it's great. Pete, please.
Thank you, sir. Mr. President, I only speak American.
That's hard. I speak Cuban.
That's
Now, some people said that Pete needs to be a little bit more careful with his hand gestures.
It's an honor to be here and to establish in this hemisphere peace through strength. For far too long, our country's gaze was only on borders in far-flung places, not our own border.
So listen, I understand that that's not what he was trying to do. Look at Trump behind him. Why does it always look like Trump, when he stands behind someone, is just checking out their butt? His eyes are like, Pete doing some squats. So there's Pete. So there's that. I got the cringe bug. I just did it. Did you see that? I'm watching these clips of them, and now I'm becoming the one bombing. It's not me, it's them, I promise. Then also a little bit more from Hegseth on a serious note.
People ask boots on the ground, no boots on the ground, 4 weeks, 2 weeks, 6 weeks, go in. President Trump knows, I know, you don't tell the enemy, you don't tell the press, you don't tell anybody what your limits would be on an operation. We're willing to go as far as we need to in order to be successful.
But you won't tell us what successful is. That's the problem. Whenever he goes, oh, people are so funny. They're like, boots on the ground, no boots on the ground, left, right, forward, back. It's like, we're going to do it. We're not going to tell them. We're just going to, Okay, I understand what you're trying to articulate. That's not why people are asking. It's not that we're like, tell us exactly when the next strike will happen. Otherwise, you don't have a plan. That's not what people are saying. It's that between different Trump administration officials, you don't seem to have a clear general vision. It's like you started a war and then went, all right, what are we doing here? What do we do? What's the goal? Which is not how it's supposed to go. The reason people are asking is because if you could give us some insight into what the plan is, maybe we wouldn't be so dang terrified by your decision making here. And you already have you have public sentiment against you. So you have a lot of, distance you have to make up in winning back over the trust of Americans, especially given what we've lived through in recent history with these exact type of interventions going horribly wrong. And so if you had, this is what victory looks like, then it's not that we need an exact to the day when that would be completed, but we'd understand whether or not we agreed with it, what even the direction is that you're heading, but they don't even have that. All right, let's check in a little bit more with the audience. You have Josh Johnson saying it's hard to believe an all-merciful God who created humans knowing many would burn in hell for eternity. Yeah, that whole concept, I kind of botched reading that, but exactly, that whole concept of God created us knowing what would happen, like the whole Adam or Eve, probably, woman, the Bible says. I remember that was my first, I feel like we're blaming it on Eve a lot. It's like, so why did we all start sinning? That bitch Eve ate the dang apple. And you're like, interesting. A little misogyny. Is God misogynistic? No, I'm kidding. So that's my youth pastor. He's like, God made a perfect earth. Amen. And perfect humans. And then that bitch Eve ruined it for us. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why we oppress women. That was practically, no, not really my youth pastor. That's crazy. So I never understood it when they would say that everything was created, God knows everything that's going to happen, and then you live, let's say you live 50 years and then you have a heart attack and you didn't accept Jesus into your heart. So 50 years of a life by the Bible standards not well lived then affords you eternity being tortured. Doesn't seem right to me. Okay. Carl, because of one we have to burn. No. So that's my stance on that. I think that it's probably, if we could conceptualize the creation of the universe, it wouldn't be the creation of the universe, baby. I'm not going to keep going down this road. I'm going to sound really high. Carl A. Reasoner, member for 8 months, said, keep up the good work, Luke, Jaden, and Cole. Y'all keep being well informed. Less doom and gloom. Legalize comedy. So true. Chadium said, finally sent, but Kelsey's Renogate is my new conspiracy theory rabbit hole. What is she really up to, that Donna? We don't know, but we know. Okay. And I now have we do have a whistleblower into the show right now, joining live. Where did you, sir? Hi, yes. What did you see the day before Charlie Kirk's assassination? Well, I saw a woman who looks a lot like Donna Kelsey with military leaders. Really? How sure are you? I'll never forget those eyes. I'll never forget Donna Kelsey's eyes. So is this a renovation or a cover-up? Now a word from our sponsor. Yeah. I mean, you never know. Someone's going to hop on that train. What is she really doing with this whole renovation situation? Okay, let's talk about this now. You know how I previously explained to you that while I don't see it as particularly useful to attack the children or grandchildren of a political leader that is horrible just because of their family ties, there can be a useful exploration in the concept related to a child or grandchild. And what do I mean by that? We talked about with Barron Trump, how whenever you contemplate to yourself Trump's callousness about American heroes' lives being lost because of his decision to go to war, and he goes, that's the way it is. And he just seems totally dismissive of it. Shows up with a trucker hat like he just came off the golf course to the dignified transfer. But one time Fox News thought it was a terrible controversy that Obama saluted with a latte in his hand to a soldier. That was disrespectful. But Trump showing up with a hat on, like a merch, some merch on during a dignified transfer, that's not offensive to them. And they actually showed footage from a different dignified transfer whenever they covered it on Fox News so that it wouldn't be obvious that Trump was being disrespectful. But when you contemplate that callousness from Trump, you go, well, a Barron, for example, he's not going to go to war. And that's, I think, the reason that what I'm going to show you here with Kai Trump, Trump's granddaughter, why it went so viral is just the tone deafness and the reminder that Trump and many of the leaders making decisions about so many human lives and putting human lives at risk and taking human lives, they're detached themselves and their family and their friends and their wealthy golf partners from the human toll. While people Kai Trump's age are putting their lives at risk for this war that Trump has taken us into, Kai Trump is literally doing YouTube videos about the luxury grocery store. Daily Beast reports Kai Trump dragged for tone-deaf luxury shopping trip stunt. And I looked up her channel. She's just living her best life, you know? And it's not, Kai Trump's just like 18 years old. It's not to really attack her, but to demonstrate that contrast of the wealthy children and grandchildren of the people making these decisions. They're never going to feel the impact, but it's going to be all of these working class Americans who actually pay the highest price. Flying first class to the NBA All-Star game is one of her YouTube videos. So she's trying to be like a MAGA influencer. And this was the YouTube video that sparked lots of backlash, even in her own comments.
Alright guys, so welcome back to the channel. Right now we are in Erewhon, which is in LA. This is me in the Erewhon video and everything I get from Erewhon. If you guys don't know Erewhon's the most expensive grocery store pretty much out there. Everything's crazy expensive. So we're gonna get my favorite stuff, even supplements, whatever it may be. And then we're gonna go home and try it out.
Let me know if you guys have any questions on the prices or anything, okay?
How much are sweaters? The Haley Beaver smoothie.
Coming up, I love that. Coming up, I'm going to try a smoothie. Now you have to watch the video. Like when we do coming up, it's someone like screaming at me or something. This is coming up. Ooh, this is good.
Oh my God.
They really laid out the red carpet for you.
I'm looking for my phone and you have it. I'm gonna go like bankrupt with this. I need to file for bankruptcy. Me and Matt were just talking about peptides. That's why it's funny.
Collagen.
Oh, thank you. Wow, she's almost as charismatic as JD Vance. No hate this direction, but I brought my Secret Service to Erewhon. So amid all of this, to post a video where you're like, I used taxpayer-funded Secret Service to go take me to a really expensive grocery store. Coming up. Wow, that's a good smoothie. I think the smoothie was $21 for one smoothie. whoa. So you have this President Donald Trump's granddaughter, Kai Trump, has been ruthlessly dragged for uploading a YouTube vlog about her shopping trip at a high-end Los Angeles supermarket. The 18-year-old aspiring professional golfer and MAGA influencer was blasted for her tone-deaf video, originally titled "I Brought My Secret Service to Erewhon," in which she documented shopping at the luxury store. The post that I saw was, this one from Matt. It genuinely sometimes feels like they're trying to usher in a French Revolution, and you had lots of, I'll show you some of these comments. You have, dude, we need to eat the rich for real. Let them eat cake, but actually, talking about, is she gonna go fight in Iran? I love that my taxes are funding this instead of school lunches. Thanks for showing us the grocery store none of us will ever shop at. So you get the, but again, to me, this is not about Kai Trump, some 18-year-old aspiring golfer or whatever, but about who pays the price of our leaders' decisions. It's not their rich children who, while this is going on, are going to get to do their vlogs, or Barron Trump will get to make $100 million off of his crypto, his part in the Trump crypto business. It's not going to be the loved ones of the leaders. It's going to be people that clearly Trump doesn't seem to have much attachment to. And that's the really grim aspect to this. You remember we talked about Lawrence O'Donnell invoking Barron Trump as media rights in Rant on War Dead and Trump kids not serving. That question of, is Trump willing to send Barron? Feels weirder to say with Kai, but I guess, is he going to send his children and grandchildren? No. And that, I think, emphasizes, and this is the case with a lot of political leaders. This isn't a new thing just with Trump, but especially given the wealth and out-of-touchness of Trump and his family, it's definitely a phenomenon here, which is that those choosing to put people's lives at risk have no personal attachment to the consequences of that, which gives you Trump saying, that's the way it is. That's what it gives you. And by the way, Eric Trump, and I guess my advice to the Trump kids or grandkids is just during a time like this, where Trump's launching like the most unpopular war at the point of its beginning in American history or something crazy like that, maybe just don't be doing any "I'm really rich" vlogs, or "we're happy to announce our new gold belt," or whatever the next, Eric and Don Jr. business endeavor is going to be. All right, you have Ruberman saying, rich kid issues don't seem to be the same issues my kids have. How strange. Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. She says, I'm going to go broke. No, you're not. And you know that, okay? What's up, guys? Kai Trump here. Today, we're going to be flying on a private jet to go to Wonton to get a $21 smoothie. Make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. You're like, nah, bad time. 21. Woo! The next topic is very intense, so let me sort of shift gears here. Let's check in on another Trump press gaggle, this time in Air Force One, where he had a few different people around him. You're going to see Witkoff, there's Pete Hegseth, and in a very rare moment, I saw someone reference this. If you keep up with Trump press conferences, Trump will say anything. He'll be like, we've brought in $300 trillion of investment. And then he'll look over and be like, right, Howard? And Howard will be like, yeah. Or, I'm seeing polling that I'm the most popular president ever. Right, Marco? And Marco's like, yeah. And then in this situation, even Pete Hegseth, even in this context where they almost always just affirm the accuracy, even if it's completely inaccurate, of the things Trump says, even he has to go, when Trump tries to say that the strike, as we get more evidence, and now multiple news outlets have provided evidence and reported on the strike that killed a bunch of schoolgirls, children in Iran during one of the first waves of Israeli-U.S. strikes. And Pete Hegseth can't get him to say, yeah, Trump, you're right, when Trump says, oh, that was an Iranian strike.
Mr. President,
Did the United States bomb a girls' elementary school in southern Iran on the first day of the war and kill 175 people?
In my opinion, based on what I've seen, that was done by Iran.
Is that true, Mr. Hegseth? It was Iran who did that?
We're certainly investigating.
Still investigating.
But the only side that targets civilians is Iran.
We think it was done. We think it was done by Iran. Because they're very inaccurate, as you know, with their munitions. They have no accuracy whatsoever. It was done by Iran.
So Trump's just asserting that. Now we have tons of evidence that that's not true. And seemingly all the major outlets have confirmed that what Trump is saying there is not true. And so, of course, it's the case that the Iranian regime does horrible things to civilians. And calling that out is very important. And whenever it is our government, based on Trump's decisions, who I'm assuming accidentally massacres a bunch of kids, that's important as well. And we have to hold our government to account. And it emphasizes why war and Trump so carelessly and irrationally and irresponsibly pulling us into a war with very little plan can have disastrous consequences. New video appears to show U.S. missile hitting Iranian girls' school, killing 175 people. That's from the New York Times. Then we get to another part of this press conference when thinking, what does victory look like? Which we keep asking. Trump says it's a complete unconditional surrender, which if you're saying this could all be done and wrapped without boots on the ground very quickly, as you try to assure people this won't be the quagmire we are fearful that it would turn into, then saying you have to get a complete unconditional surrender out of the Iranian regime that is now just led by Khomeini's son, Khomeini, seems to contradict to that, because that takes a lot of war.
Can you give us an idea of what unconditional surrender looks like to you? I mean, what do you want from Iran?
I said unconditional, not conditional. I said unconditional. It's where they...
That's what he said.
Cry uncle, or when they can't fight any longer and there's nobody around to cry uncle. That could happen too, because we've wiped out their leadership numerous times already. So it's if they surrender, or if there is nobody around to surrender, but they're rendered useless in terms of military.
So do you see what I mean? That originally you had some who were defending these actions going, this is going to be kind of like Midnight Hammer, right? Limited strike, troops get home, that's it. It's not going to turn into a whole drawn-out, years-long regime change war, hundreds or thousands of American lives lost, thousands of civilians. That's not what it's turning into. But then you start hearing them talk about the regime in a way that makes you go, it sounds like you're saying victory would be a regime change. But to achieve that, you'd need a lot of resources and a lot of human toll. And now you're talking about needing a complete unconditional surrender. Well, now we really know that's not a quick, limited, isolated set of strikes. So once again, they're all over the place, which gives you even more reason for opposition and criticism. And then this is on the Russian coordination with Iran on striking American targets.
Have you communicated to the Russians not to send targeting information and other assistance to the Iranians?
Strongly said that.
And do you believe that they are?
I hope they're not.
Do you see any evidence?
We don't know, but it's not doing very well. If they are, it's not helping much. If you take a look at what's happened to Iran in the last week, if they're getting information.
So Witkoff just absolutely loves the Russian government. And so he gets asked there and is like, have you told Russia to not do that? And he goes, strongly. And then the reporter's like, so do you think they are assisting Iran? And Witkoff says, I hope not. What? No, what do you believe? Not what do you hope. What do you believe? And then another on that question.
If they're getting information, it's not helping them much.
What would it mean to you if they were? I mean, even if it's not helping the Iranians particularly much, it's still involving themselves in a conflict that they're not directly.
They'd say we do it against them, wouldn't they? Wouldn't they say that? We do it against them? I don't know. Look,
when they're invading our ally. So how insane do you have to be as a U.S. president when you get intelligence that one of our major adversaries is assisting in getting our troops killed during a war, and your response is, well, I mean, hey, we're all doing it, right? Whose side are you on? What? You say you're so powerful, and it seems a lot of this war is about Trump demonstrating his own strength. But then you can't have one strong word to say about Russia. And then one other clip.
What are the circumstances where you'd send in ground troops? How are you thinking about that?
I don't even want to talk about it now. I mean, that's. I don't think it's an appropriate question. You know, I'm not going to answer it. Could there be? Possibly, for very good reason. Have to be very good reason. And I would say if we ever did that.
So we already saw Pete Hegseth and others not take Levitt, not take boots on the ground off the table. The guys haven't heard this, and maybe you haven't, but I did a breaking news segment about it. Levitt was asked by Maria Bartiromo about a draft and boots on the ground, and for both said, we're not taking our options off the table. And it's like, wait, what on earth? What on earth happened to the No New Wars administration? Now you're talking about a draft? Now, I don't think she was serious about that, but was just trying to do the I'm not taking anything off the table type posture, but still disturbing. That would feel like the type of thing you could take off the table. All right, you have Government Steez saying the way Hegseth responded to the question is doublespeak. He said Iranians only kill civilians, really meaning Americans only kill terrorists, which are the Iranian civilians. He said Iranians only kill civilians, Americans, really meaning Americans only kill terrorists. I mean, yeah, his answer was sort of meaningless. Just we're investigating, but Iran's the only one who kills civilians. Okay. This is not about going, oh, you know, the Iranian regime. This is just analyzing the facts, understanding when Iranian leaders choose or Iranian forces choose to massacre civilians, that is absolutely heinous and should be called out. And they have a history of specifically targeting civilians. And that tells you something about the approach and ideology. True. And whenever it is our government whose actions lead to dozens of kids being killed, we have to call that out as well. And like I said, it demonstrates to you why we warned of irresponsibly pulling us into a war like this. All right, let's talk about, man, this has been a day, huh, boys? Huh, boys? What a day. Let's wrap up there, actually. I don't think we need to do another story. I appreciate all of you so dang much. I hope that we navigated those waters, tough subjects, some fun subjects, the best that we could. Much love to all of you, and I'll talk to you next time.